Hey guys, I'm back. First I want to say, yes, I have a mic. The Hunger Games not happening. But I found a new book that I'm wanting to read. I just couldn't do the Hunger Games. I've read it so many times, literally not so many times. I've read it like twice, I think. But I really like it. I think for some reason I just need a new book right now. It just wasn't keeping my interest. I was having a hard time getting into it and turning pages and stuff. But the new book I'm reading, drum roll please. Yep, you heard it here. I'm reading The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. Um, I'm really excited. I read. Oh my gosh, I always butcher the name. Is it The Kiss Quotient? I always call it the Love Quotient or something. But The Kiss Quotient I read and I really loved. And then I read Bride the Bride Test, I think. Let me check. Yeah, The Bride Test. So, long story short, I've loved her other two books. I think this is all it has listed is those three, including this one. So, I don't know if she has more and they're just not listed or what, but I'm really excited for this one. I think I'm going to be able to read it really easily and really quickly. And yeah, I'm just really excited because, like I said, I really love the other two. So, updates to come. Okay, update. So, I'm about 35 pages in. I'm actually really enjoying it so far, and I already feel pretty connected to the main character, Anna, I think. Um, I feel like she's pretty relatable, and she really wants everyone to like her. She's really worried about what other people think. The only criticism I have so far is, which I should have expected this because it literally says on the back of the book, it mentions YouTube. I don't love when books have a bunch of modern references. I don't know why, I just don't like it. What was it that she just you referenced? Oh my gosh, let me look. Oh, Netflix. They just reference Netflix, and nothing wrong with Netflix, but I don't love those kind of references. That one's not that bad. I'm kind of interested as long as they leave it at that. I get really weird when they mention TikTok and stuff. That's when I kind of draw the line, just because I don't know, it feels corny in a way. But I really like it so far, and yeah, I'm reading it actually I don't know, I'm not really having any problems getting into it. So if you're really sensitive about breaking the spines of books, don't keep watching. But I might have just learned my lesson because I made it a decent enough in to break the spine of where I was at. And hold on, let me show you. It fully snapped the book. This is so tragic. I don't know if you can see it. See? It's so bad. I guess. Actually, I haven't learned my lesson in general. I've learned my lesson for this book. I'm not going to keep trying. Because usually I don't even do it that much. It's just to make it a little floppier. But this one, I don't know. It just doesn't work. So tragic. Okay, I'm now on page 187. I still like it. I'm I kind of feel how do I say this? I'm not totally invested. I like both the characters and I like the idea of their story, but for some reason it just it's almost moving too fast, and so I'm not I don't totally believe it. I don't know if that makes sense. But I'm on the edge of liking it and not. So, right now I'd still have it as 3 stars in that kind of area, maybe almost a 4. But I kind of really need to know where it's going. I also feel like so we're getting so much of Anna's like backstory. We're getting none of his. Like all we know is that had like a lot of health issues. He had cancer, a lot of stuff to deal with. We even like hear about his family, like he'll mention them, but like we don't ever actually see them. It feels like everything is in Anna's world and she doesn't like enter his world at all. And I'm kind of like, I mean, she's really endearing and sweet, but I'm also like, his whole world is revolving around her and they don't even know each other that long. So a part of me is like, why is he so into her already? You know what I'm saying? Like, it has the premise to be really good, but it feels not quite believable. Like, almost believable, but not quite. Literally, to prove my point, I literally turned the page. I'm not even kidding. I turned the page, and her mom is asking Anna, like, what is his job? And she's like, oh, like, he owns an apparel business. And the mom's like, oh, like, is he just selling t-shirts out of the trunk? Like, what's going on? And Anna's like, oh, I don't really know. Like, that's all I know about it. Girl, that she just, like, does not seem to know anything about this man. She doesn't care about anything about him. Meanwhile, like, he's met her whole family, like, been over all this stuff, which he doesn't know all about her either. He had never, like, her big thing is that she plays violin. He had never heard her play violin until now. But, like, it's still all about Anna. And I'm like, it's just very clear it's not equal. But he's still really into her. And I feel like we're supposed to be, like, believing that this is, like, it's not being presented in a way that's, like, weird or concerning that everything's about Anna. It's just like, oh yeah, she's got a lot going on. So it's all about her. I don't know. And I don't even mind that, like, I get it. She has, like, I mean, obviously, if you don't want spoilers, you wouldn't be watching now, but I get it. She's a lot going on. Like, her dad had a stroke, so he's, like, her whole family's taking care of him, all this stuff. So she's a lot going on. But also, I'm like, you don't know anything about him. You're not making, like, you know what I'm saying? At least put in a little bit of effort to get to know him, especially when he's, like, making you a big priority. I don't know. I literally forgot because they have not mentioned it until right now. She still has a full boyfriend. Still has a full boyfriend. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but it is. Um, which it's not like she's cheating because like the boyfriend had asked for an open relationship and like everyone in the situation is aware of what's going on. But like she literally has a full boyfriend. So technically she has two boyfriends right now. I'm sorry. And I actually like her is the thing. I like her. But this is insane. This is insane that this she literally was like, "Oh, like, hey, how is your business doing?" Because my family was asking about it and I couldn't give them any details. He's like, "Oh, casual detail, like our business just got acquired by Louis Vuitton. So like we're doing really good." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like Louis Vuitton?" He's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "This is they've known each other for like it's definitely been like 2 or 3 months at this point." And she doesn't even know that. Like that's a major and the reader knew this already because like we get it from his perspective. This happened a while ago. But she didn't know because she just no asked. I don't know. This is just insane. And like I feel like we're supposed to think this is normal, but I don't think it's normal. Another reason I'm finding this really difficult is because the depictions of her father's suffering in the aftermath of his stroke are very mentally draining. And I feel like, I mean, it's just so much suffering. Like the whole family's suffering, her father's suffering. And then it's like, it's just so mentally taxing that I'm not really enjoying it. Like, I'm gonna power through the book, but like, anytime, which I understand, like, it's a tough situation, but I also feel like the relationship on the side, I think, is supposed to give you a bit of a mental break, but it's really not, because I mean, of all the stuff I've said where it's like it it doesn't really give me the break, and then I just have to go back and read more and more pages of like the father's suffering, which is like kind of detailed and really sad. So I'm on page, I think, 230, and I'm just really ready to be done. My rating is getting lower and lower. It was originally like a high 3, now it's like a low 3. Um, I'm really struggling with this one. But I'm still reading it pretty quickly. I'm not having a hard time getting into it, but like I need something, like I think I need like a literary fiction, or I might read my mystery, the hippopotamus one, after. I just need something different. But I'm so close to being done. Um, and this is also just like a long romance book anyway. Like I think, let me look at the page count. Okay, maybe it's not that long. It's only 324 pages. It just like like I said, it's so draining that it feels massive, because it's just like how many more pages of suffering, and like it just doesn't, I don't know. There's like no relief from the suffering and sadness and heaviness. And I just didn't know I was getting myself into that when I started this. So I probably would have picked like a better mood to read it in, or I could have like braced myself a little bit. But yeah, I just didn't know. And it kind of mentioned that like in the summer, it kind of mentioned that there were like she had family things that she had to deal with, but I didn't really stress it. And that's kind of like the one of the main focuses of this book is like her family issues, because her family is kind of awful to her. So not only are you having to read about the stroke, but her family's awful to her. I don't know. There's just so much going on. I also forgot to mention, but he has said, I love you. She said, I don't love you yet. I have nothing to say to that. I'm just gonna leave that there. Okay, you know how earlier I said everyone's aware of the situation of her having two boyfriends? Well, the original boyfriend, I didn't realize, was not aware. And he thinks they're gonna pick back up where they left off. And she's not really stopping him. He's like, when are we gonna meet? And she's like, when my dad's better. Instead of just being like, hey dude, I met someone else. Like, when I said earlier that the relationship is not giving enough emotional relief from all the suffering that's happening, it's because I'm not truly rooting for them. Because there's just so much going wrong in this whole relationship that, like, I don't even have anything happy to root for, because it's all just a huge mess. And I don't know, I'm ready for it to be over. But like, it started out so good, and now it's just like a downward spiral where it's getting worse and worse. And now it's like every few pages where I'm like getting annoyed. You know what I mean? Now it's like getting close to 2-star territory, because I'm getting so angry. Which it might also be that I'm just like getting more mad, so then I'm reading more into stuff, but also like I'm just getting so frustrated, and I'm just not, yeah, I'm not enjoying this at all. Everyone now thinks that well, actually, it's not everyone thinks. She is engaged to the first boyfriend because she's too scared to tell people that she doesn't want to marry him, because everyone wants her to marry that first guy. And the second one is like, it's easy. You just go in and say like, hey, I'm not marrying him. And she's like, no, I can't do it. Like, her fear of making people in her life mad. At first, I was like, oh, like, no one wants to upset other people. Not to this extreme. It's like so extreme that it's infuriating. It's not even just frustrating, it's infuriating, because she's just like, it's so frustrating. She's like, oh, he's holding my hand, but I can't tell him not to. Oh, he's kissing me, but I can't tell him not to, because I don't want to upset him. Girl, tell him no. Or like push him off, something, and just be like, I can't. Like, you can do it in a nice way, but what, like, we're we're supposed to sympathize with it and be like, oh, she's not, she doesn't want to upset people. We can't get mad at her for that. No, we can't. Like, we can fully get mad at her for that, because she's like 1,000% disregarding the feelings of everyone around her by doing this. It's so frustrating, and I feel really bad for boyfriend number two, because like, he's been there for her this whole time. He'll bring food. His parents will send food over. All this stuff. He literally just found out he got fired from his job, and the first thing he wanted to do was see her. Shows up to see that he wasn't invited to the party, and she like shows up while the engagement is being announced and sees her kissing this guy. But oh, it was done because she's not in control of her life. She didn't have a say. Girl, you're not like a teenager. You're an adult. And I get that some people, like, I get it, but I can't stand it because it's not fair to him. And she's like, he has to understand. No, he doesn't. Like, you fully just cheated on him because you promised him that you were going to break it off. The second that you promised him you were going to break it off with boyfriend number one is when it's like made to be exclusive, because he didn't realize stuff was still going on. So, like, yes, you did fully cheat. Like, that is cheating. And it's not done in like a silly, goofy, oh, like, she couldn't. No. Like, you have to live with the consequences. She has this big moment where she stands up for herself by telling everyone no. Like, that's her big hurrah. Is she's like, they're like, play the violin. She goes, no. And then she goes up to Julian, and he's like, let me take you home. She goes, no. And I don't want to marry you, and walks off. I'm sorry, that's not near enough, babes. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I I I truly don't even have the words for how much I hate her. I really liked her too. I was rooting for her so hard. I really liked her, and I am livid. I'm livid. Like, she has been awful to boyfriend number two. Awful. He literally, good for him. She's like, no, I don't want you to leave, because he was trying to leave. She's like, but I want you to stay. Babes, you're engaged. Like, oh my gosh. She's like, I want you to stay. He doesn't even respond. He just turns around and walks off, and she's like calling after him. He doesn't even turn around. I know they're gonna end up together, but I so badly want him to just never speak to her again. Because this man, oh my gosh. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just so frustrated, and I have no, I understand struggling, just like, you don't want to be disrespectful to your family. I understand it. And to feel, you're allowed to have your feelings, but you're not allowed to act certain ways just because you have those feelings. Does that make sense? Your feelings are excusable, your actions are not. And her actions towards him, inexcusable for me. And he is so sweet. I love him so much. No. No. Because he literally even gave her the chance. He's like, you can go in there and tell everyone that you don't want to marry him. And she wouldn't do it. And then he's like, are you still embarrassed to be seen with me? And she's like, no. I literally am giving this a 1-star. A 1-star review. And I still have a decent chunk of book left. So I have a feeling that's going to keep going down. Because the second they get together, it's going to 0 stars. The second they get together. 0 stars. And I am calling it. I know it's going to happen. I'm sorry. I'm literally, you can tell, I'm fuming right now. I'm fuming. It literally took her going to his apartment and crying. And he, like, felt like he had to take care of her again. So they made up. It's 0 stars. Like, literally, she didn't even, I mean, she briefly apologized, but then she just went back to complaining about her family life. And he, like, felt bad for her. And that was it. I feel like I'm, like, brain dead at this point. I don't know if I missed when she said this, but I'm at the very end. I think I'm on, like, the last page. She just said something about how these 2 best friends that she's been talking to this whole time on, like, texting, she's never met them in real life. I didn't even know that. Like, they came to watch her perform her violin thing, and she's like, 2 faces I've never seen before in real life, but I would recognize them anywhere. Girl, what? Like, I don't think she said that. I never saw that anywhere. I didn't realize, like, that's insane. I'm sorry. That's, like, the least insane thing about this book, but, like, that's still weird to me. I will say, I turned the page in the first line. Let me read this acknowledgments to you. Okay. This book is a work of fiction, but it's also half memoir. To date, it's the most me book that I've ever written. That's why it's in the first person rather than third, like my other books. The words came out easier when I said I instead of she. But the personal nature of this book made it harrowing to write. Anna's struggles were mine. Her pain was mine. Her shame was mine. And I relived it every time I sat down to write. Now I feel kind of bad because I was, like, kind of hating on Anna. And I stand by everything I said. Like, your actions, this shame that she called it, like, or not your actions, your emotions, your shame, like she called it, all of that stuff, that is so valid. It's so valid to experience those feelings, to struggle with that stuff. What I disliked was how she treated the people around her because of that. And I understand that it's like a cause and effect thing, but the way that she treated others in her life, you know what I'm saying, that I can't excuse. Emotions, you're allowed to feel your emotions. That doesn't mean you can treat everyone around you awfully just because of that. So, that's my little soapbox moment. Overall, I give it, I was kind of mad, I will say, when I said 0. That's a bit extreme. I'll give it a 2. I'll give it a 2 because, like, I was really enjoying it at the beginning. I think it's a really strong idea. I still stand by what I said, where it was just so mentally draining and there was nothing that eased that or gave any kind of relief or break from that mental exhaustion. So it's just like, it was just heavy and I wasn't expecting it. Wasn't looking for that. It's not what I'm looking for when I'm reading a romance. Like, I like when romances are a little bit more literary fiction. I like when there's a lot of personal growth. I like all that stuff. That all felt like the personal growth didn't happen until like the last 3 pages. And then that makes it feel not real. I'm sorry, but like it does. So it's not any anything against the author, nothing like that. Especially when she said it so personal, but I feel like the way that it was written, it didn't give the reader any time to kind of step away from the heaviness, and then also we didn't really believe the growth that happened for Anna because it happened in like literally 3 pages. So then you're kind of like, okay, like, I mean, you're telling me it happened, but I don't really believe it. So, like I said, I give it 2 stars. I am gonna find something a little happier to read. I think I'm gonna read uh I forget what it was. I mentioned it in my book haul, but it's the like mystery. It looks really cozy and cute and silly. So, that's what I'm gonna read next. But I'll see y'all later.